Here's another textbook example of evidence for evolution. Welcome to Critical Thinking Scan, where we look at how you can think about any faith-challenging message and arrive at a biblical, logical conclusion yourself. I'm Patricia Engler, and today let's begin part 1 of 2 videos on how to think critically about another top example textbook cite as evidence for evolution, which is drug resistance in bacteria. See, as doctors prescribe antibiotics to help fight bacterial infections in patients, natural selection can favor any bacteria which survive the antibiotic exposure for various reasons. Over time, entire populations of bacteria may become resistant to multiple antibiotics. So the medical community is constantly working to find new ways to target these superbugs. We can observe this process happening, and many people call it evolution. For example, under the heading, "Evolution is supported by an overwhelming amount of scientific evidence," my first-year biology textbook explained how within 2 years of penicillin becoming a widespread drug, some harmful strains of Staphylococcus aureus bacteria became penicillin resistant. As my textbook put it, these bacteria had an enzyme penicillinase which could destroy penicillin. So doctors began using other antibiotics, including methicillin, which inactivates a protein that the bacteria require to build their cell walls. Again, within 2 years, methicillin-resistant bacteria appeared. As my textbook explained, some individuals were able to synthesize their cell walls using a different protein that was not affected by methicillin. And my textbook touted this as amazing evidence for evolution as a whole. So is that true? Let's think about it using the 7 checks of critical thinking. Number 1, check scripture. Genesis explains God created organisms to reproduce according to their kinds. And in this case, we're ultimately seeing Staphylococcus bacteria producing more Staphylococcus bacteria. So that's not a problem from a biblical perspective. We might ask how some of these bacteria began causing disease after sin entered the world, since Genesis says creation was originally very good. And you can find answers to that in articles linked to this video. Ultimately though, the observational science does not challenge any biblical doctrines, which is critical thinking check number 2. However, the textbook's interpretation that drug-resistant bacteria show all life evolved from a single ancestor does challenge a biblical doctrine. After all, like we can see from check 3, check the source, the textbook is starting from the worldview of man's word using naturalistic evolutionary assumptions, which affects how they're interpreting the observational science. So let's move on to check 4, check the definitions for keywords in this message. And in this message, the main word to watch out for is evolution, which we've seen has more than one meaning. In this case, the textbook is claiming bacterial resistance is evidence for evolution in the sense that one kind of living thing can supposedly evolve into another. But what we're actually observing is evolution in the sense of variation within the Staphylococcus kind due to mechanisms like mutation and natural selection, which, as you can see from the linked resources, don't produce the types of change required for between-kind evolution, even in this case. More on that next time. So, this could be considered a bait-and-switch fallacy. Yet the fallacious claim that bacterial resistance evinces evolution can still sound persuasive. Why? Under check 5, check for propaganda, one reason this may sound convincing is because we hear it so often. And psychological research shows that repeated messages sound true, even if we know they're not. Also, when students encounter this message, it's often coming from an educated professor presenting professional textbook diagrams. And these factors can make messages seem more believable, whether or not they're true. Now we're at check 6, check for interpretations. And this is where the real fun happens. Remember, when you encounter a textbook example of evidence for evolution, there's often more to the story than what you're hearing. What you're hearing is likely the most polished presentation of an evolutionary interpretation for the facts at hand. And in this case, we need to dig deeper into the facts of observational science to see what's really going on with antibiotic resistance, uncover some parts of the story that weren't in the textbook, and find out whether this is really the evolutionary evidence it's interpreted to be. That'll be part 2 of this critical thinking scan. Meanwhile, for more on how to think critically about any faith-challenging message, you can access my other CT scan videos packed with tactics, tips, and tools that helped me as a Christian student at secular university. Thank you for watching. Hey, it's Patricia. Just wanted to let you know that if you like these videos, a free, easy way to help Answers in Genesis Canada produce more content and equip more people to defend their faith is to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, click the bell, and of course share these resources. I know you might hear that kind of thing a lot, but the reason these actions are so important is they inform social media algorithms to help these videos reach more people who can benefit from them. And that's especially helpful because advertising is super expensive. But this way, even media platforms which are often unfriendly towards biblical content become tools to promote gospel outreach for free. And if you're on board to share this message of biblical authority and want to give, you can also make a one-time donation or become a monthly supporter by clicking the link below. Thank you so much.